There's a strange moment that happens when you decide you want more from your life. You make the list: more money, better relationship, a stronger body, a business, a created life, freedom, recognition, peace. And you get excited for a few days, maybe even for a few weeks. You become obsessed with the future version of yourself. Then something happens. You return to your old routine, not because you are lazy, not because you don't want it badly enough, but because wanting a new life and being psychologically organized for a new life are two completely different things. That distinction changes everything. We often think success begins with a goal. I think it begins somewhere more uncomfortable, with discovering who inside you keeps negotiating against the person you say you want to become, the invisible employee inside your head. Imagine that your mind has been working for you for years. It has been collecting evidence. Every criticism, every embarrassment, every time you failed, every time someone told you what you could or couldn't become, every time you tried something and quit, every time you succeed, every time someone surprised you. Your brain doesn't file these experiences neatly under good and bad. It builds predictions, and predictions influence behaviors. If your brain learned that visibility leads to criticism, you may unconsciously avoid being seen. If it has learned that money creates conflict, you may sabotage opportunities to learn more. If it has learned that trying and failing is humiliating, you may become extraordinarily good at staying in preparation mode. Then you call it procrastination. Sometimes it isn't. Sometimes it's self-protection warning, a productivity costume. This is where the idea of supermind becomes useful. Not as a supernatural power, not as a promise that thinking about a Ferrari will make one appear in your driveway. Your supermind is the capacity to notice the mental machinery running underneath your choices and gradually train it. Your subconscious doesn't need a speech. People often ask, how do I talk to my subconscious? Here is the interesting answer. You already are all day. The question is what you are teaching it. Every repeated thought is practice. Every repeated behavior is practice. Every time you avoid something because you're afraid, you're practicing avoidance. Every time you do something difficult despite being afraid, you're practicing courage. Every time you say I'll do it tomorrow, you're rehearsing tomorrow. And every time you keep a small promise to yourself, you're building evidence that your own word means something. Your deeper mind is influenced by repetition, emotion, attention, learning, and behavior. So don't spend 20 minutes telling yourself you're disciplined and then spend the entire day proving otherwise. Give your mind evidence. That's far more interesting than an affirmation. Stop lying to yourself with positive thinking. This is where I think a lot of success advice goes wrong. Someone feels terrified about starting a business and tells themselves, I'm fearless, I'm unstoppable, I'm destined of greatness. Their nervous system is basically responding. Interesting story, we have absolutely no evidence. Try something more believable. Instead of I'm fearless, say I can act while I'm afraid. Instead of I never fail, say if this fails, I can learn and adjust. Instead of everyone will believe in me, say I don't need everyone to believe in me to continue. This is psychological strength. You aren't hypnotizing yourself. You're building a relationship with reality that makes action possible. The question that can change your goals. Most people ask, what do I want? Try asking, what would I have to stop being in order to get it? That's a much more dangerous question. Maybe you want to become financially independent, but you're attached to be someone who spends impulsively. Maybe you want to become an artist, but you're attached to be someone who waits until their work is perfect. Maybe you want to become a leader, but you're attached to being liked by everyone. Maybe you want to become confident, but you're attached to avoiding situations where you may look inexperienced. Your goal may not be blocked by a lack of desire. It may be blocked by an identity you keep protecting. Talk to the part of you that is afraid. Don't fight your fear like it's an enemy. Ask it questions and you catch yourself avoiding something important. Stop. Right. What am I afraid will happen if I actually try? Then keep going. What would that mean about me? And again, why does that scare me? Eventually you may discover that the real fear isn't failure. It's judgment or rejection, or losing an old identity, or discovering that you actually have no excuse left. Once you can name the fear, you can work with it. You don't have to eliminate fear. You have to stop letting fear make every decision. Your brain loves prediction. Your brain is constantly trying to predict what comes next. That can become a trap. If you've always quit after 3 weeks, your brain expects you to quit after 3 weeks. So when the discomfort arrives, it whispers, "Here we go again." This is the moment to do something almost absurdly small. Continue, not because 3 weeks is magical, because you're giving your brain a new piece of evidence. This is what we do now. You don't need one heroic transformation. You need enough contradictory evidence to make your old prediction less convincing. That's how identity changes, quietly, repetitively, almost invisible, until the behavior that once required effort starts feeling normal. Don't visualize the trophy. You don't visualize your goal. Don't spend all the time imagining the applause, because achievement is usually built in moments that will never make a motivational video. Build a relationship with your future self. Here is a simple exercise. Tonight, write a message from your future self. Not "Congratulations, you're rich." Make it specific. Write, "I remember when you were terrified to begin. I remember when nobody understood what you were doing. I remember when you wanted to quit." Then write, "But you kept the promise." And here is a part what nobody can promise you. You cannot guarantee every goal. Life doesn't work that way. There is no psychological hack to override reality. You can work brilliantly and still lose. You can prepare and still encounter bad luck. You can be talented and still be rejected. You can do everything right and still have to change direction. But that doesn't make your mind powerless. It makes the objective more meaningful. Your behavior becomes the proof. And maybe that's the real superpower. Not getting everything you imagine. Not becoming invincible. Not manifesting a perfect life. But becoming so practiced at choosing your direction that fear, doubt, discomfort, and uncertainty no longer get the final vote. Your mind doesn't need to believe you're extraordinary. Give it evidence that you're becoming unstoppable.